like it's Amsterdam. Boy fresh, you know who got the trophy. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like a never riding in the extra car. Dead presidents, dead the dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, dead them dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead them dead presidents. Feds.
Let's go, I'm innocent.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Polo to the flow though. You already know though. It's Adamville for real. You see ya, just take a photo. I'm reppin' as on photo with a on your bro though. Cause that Jodo thought that he could rob a player for some dodo. Oh no, I'm so Allen Temple. I'm so England Mountain. I'm so Misty Valley. And I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. And my bag from the valley bought me brand new balance. And I'm playing with a no American dream, dusty road. Man, she been riding since her daddy rode on bold. I done in every hole, telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Don't I look classy? Don't act so sassy. I'm the man, boo. That's with or without you. With what your say. Show me what that.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill
The Eagles are now on the clock.
They say lonely at the top, but it's the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, belly flexing? I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Won't even address. They say lonely at the top, it's the best. And even if we die today, gon' live forever. Live forever.
Daddy Pat say with 3 S's. The S's, no S's on my chest, but all these diamonds got me blessed. Usually I don't do this. Dumb it down, go stupid. Since 17, been counting M's, my bank accounts on Goofy. Say, gave up. Now who know what the truth is? Chicago full of, my garage is full of hoopers. Got that southern drawl and all that. My like ball bags. The South got something to say, and all y'all can't get y'all ball back. If I ain't a hot boy, that would be called sacks. Daddy fat, y'all never fall back. Like clocks in the wintertime, we stay eating like it's dinner time. Been feasting and feasting big, but it ain't no rhyme. We don't know the meaning of drought, cause we keep it so wet. Why sweat now? It's been a while. Just speaking in general, boy, there is no formidable opponent or at that bone. Never step on it. When you wanna mind the kind of give it hope when they down and out. Dig a hole so deep, ain't no climbing out.
Yeah, I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say lonely at the top, but it's the best. Don't you see me out here shining, belly flexing? I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say lonely at the top.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
If we die today, don't live forever. Live forever.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go slow, back my logo for show, Coco.
Get down on the.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go For sure, Pogo. Now get down on them.
Know your place, yeah, know your place.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would. I still wish.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Yep. Put my problems in. Only check up when the checks come. My pockets looking blessed up. All the talking never stressed us. They talking like they jealous of me. They talking like they never love me. They talking like they next door. I still treat them like so. Showers on the way.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles for my exes now. Ain't no fingers, let the count my blessing now. Promises and wishes, trust me, it's been different now. No rings for the things, I go missing now. Promises and wishes, why would I ever start celebrating?
The Titans are now on the clock.
I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
Every GM I've talked to has told me that their eyes lit up every time they watch film on this guy. He was such an offensive weapon in college that he often saw a team's number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks line up against him, and he routinely dominated them. Not only is he an outstanding receiver, I've heard from many scouts that he's one of the better blockers they've seen in this draft class, including offensive linemen. He's a guy that's going to get a lot of reps in training camp and a chance to make an immediate difference on this team.
Ting, ting, hear the sound. Oh, are you listening? Oh, you gotta hit the ground. Ain't no chain gonna hold me down. Dig deep, feel the burn. I've got a calling, so watch and learn. I heard a voice of this broken hymn saying, "I'm not, this is who I am." I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. Going higher and higher, higher and higher. I'll keep running. 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 can make it rain. Do you hear
The Giants are now on the clock.
Look, girl, and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh, yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit fly.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Don't stop to catch your breath. They're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Reach out, reach out. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Reach out, reach out.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this with new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just killed this cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fight.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Boulevard. I know how you work, I know just who you are. See, use it. Your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch, heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist, born on side a jellyfish I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tolerate the front. I've been through probably offend you, this is Paula's oldest son. I know conviction, burners, boosters, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers, kids and I wish I was fed forgiveness, yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in second grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm gon' shine like I'm supposed to, antisocial extrovert. And excellent meaning extra work. And absentness, you hurt. And passiveness never struck my nerve. And that's a riff gonna be this case. The reason my power's here on earth. Salute the truth from the prophecy. I got loyalty, got royalty inside
This is
my
why
DNA.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African-Americans in recent years.
I live about my DNA. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the Mecca emeritus. Tell me something, you can't tell me nothing. I'd rather do than to listen to you. My DNA not for imitation, your DNA an abomination. This how this when you in the matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing, stacking up the footage, living on the go and sleeping in the villa, sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building, diamond in the ceiling, marble on the floors, beaches out the window, peeking out the window, baby in the pool, Godfather goes, only Lord knows, I've been going hammer, dodging paparazzi, through the cameras, eating 4 daughters, Brock wearing sandals, yoga on the Monday, stretching to November, watching all the snakes, curving all the fakes, phone never own, I don't conversate, I don't compromise, I just
Okay, Reed is now off the board. Adam, tell us what you know.
He's the type of offensive lineman that doesn't get mentioned often by the commentators, but when they do, it's complimentary. He's a smart, big guy who knows how to play mistake-free at the line. In fact, he won a stretch of games this season in which he didn't allow a single sack. That's an impressive feat for any college offensive lineman, and it's no wonder to see a team take him. He's going to have to adjust to the larger size and strength of NFL defensive linemen, but I think his intangibles are stronger than any lineman in this class.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices.
Oh, look at this. They went with Mills. What's the latest on him, Adam?
Well, the first thing they need to do is have him sit down with the team nutritionist and trainer to make a plan that will bring him back to playing shape. He showed up at Indy several pounds overweight and looked lethargic in every drill. Guys like Matt Miller had their doubts that he can even make it through an NFL training camp right now. We'll see if they can get him in shape before camp and if he can control his weight in the future.
I got the recipe, I got the streets, and I don't got no felony. Forward thinking, yeah, my mind is ahead of me. Mama said it's gonna be whatever you let it be. It's some homies I grew up with that's dead to me. It's some that I just made a debt to me.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
My way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving. No text, no call, but at airplane mode. Code, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you're living by the same code. G code, leave. You do that to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I'll never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life. Look, I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life.
Also, I done sacrificed the thug life. Diamond shining, ain't no dull light. Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that the new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about me. Come on, come see. The devil had entered my soul. My mama had beat it out. The devil, my mama. Remember, my grandma had told me you better be somebody.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Watch how I lead the posse. I made an M deposit. Paid all these dudes with the game. Yeah. Sacrifice your strides for that stain. Sacrifice. Heard you sacrifice your life for that change. Yeah. She sacrificed that money for white. Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum. We up one.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Take her to the mall and buy something. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Yeah. Make way with the timing. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People watching, yeah, I gotta skip town, eh? Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
You know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah.
The Giants are now on the clock.
He was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice she made. I could only imagine all the she had to take. I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't in vain. I sacrificed for your entertainment, boy. I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice done.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip. Word upon your lip.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
He was one of the most dominant pass rushers in college football last year, getting everyone's attention after netting over 20 sacks and setting a new school record. He started seeing double teams at the line midway through the season, and that still didn't stop him from getting to the quarterback. Scouts all agree that he is a rare combination of strength and burst off the line that make him a threat on almost every play. He's a real difference maker for a defense, and he should be a starter for this defensive line in no time.
Looking at my body feeling miserable, always hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible. Looking at my years like I'm out of dumb. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough from the prodigal son. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse, pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip, word upon your lip, lip. Rather that you rip, rip. Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes. 'Cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes. Yeah, take me to the top. I'm ready for whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes, but critical, egotistical. Don't wanna be the parenthetical, hypothetical.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Proud of, out of the box, an epoxy to the world and the vision we've lost. I'm an apostrophe. I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily, and leave the body of my soul to be a part of me. I do what it takes. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes. 'Cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes. Yeah, take me to the top. I'm ready for whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even and mad.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
We coming up, pulling up, jumping all over your grass. So tell them I got a new girl. Tell them that I'm the bank and I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of living check to check. I need 20 models. This is smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectral deck. Getting, yeah, I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss it, got last on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just stir it up. Blow the speakers and turn up. Pop up.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Lord, that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long. I've been patient for so long. Breaking rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time. If you don't like me, take a ticket. There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long, I think they lost time. Ooh, you lost. What you mean? Woo! What you mean? Woo! And now I'm just a so what you mean? Woo! Hold up, whoa, what you mean? Woo! Don't know what you think it compare me to. Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and running. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge. I want it, they gon' call the feds. I just bought a cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah. Born in the ghetto, I never had nothing to fear. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw it if he fit. Call up Cassie after she broke up with Diddy, yeah. I told Shorty if she talking, I ain't. And she gon' call her friends up and we did, whoa. I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go top off a bridge. My black boys, I boys that knock off your lid. I thought you gon' pop off, so hop off my. What you mean? I said, what you mean? Listen, I don't trust her, so no. I said, what you mean? Whoa. I said, what you mean?
You thought I was finished. You thought it was.
Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the Patriots' last pick.
Nobody really knew about him until he was asked to fill in at the All-Star game for an injured player. He came to the first practice, and from that moment on, he was the center of attention. He played lights out and looked to handle himself really well, matched up against top-tier talent. He stole the show and left the All-Star game shooting up draft boards around the league. The coach is going to love having a guy like him on the team, and I can't wait to see what he does when the season rolls around.
I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali. I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson. Some baddest bag on get it. What you mean?
Like the way it sounds, Frody? Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage. Two. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me dancing on the beat. Bam, about to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you.
The Rams are now on the clock.
And I put that my mommy. I will never give my heart to a I can just make a dance that goes with this song. Then I'ma be on. Basic, gon' dance to it. Basic, everywhere, gon' dance to it. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, all in it. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that. Shake. I got 2 shows, I'm about to pitch another. Throwing alley-oop.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Nobody victims. I'm on these sweatsuit. Black Pippins, I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you have your fam. I lay on beaches and swerving whips. You ain't serving, you just an urban myth. Every day, get ride around Queens on the jet ski, it's me. Every day, get to the day I die. Every day, get man, I that and I that bouncing up and down. Nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man, amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll, when I roll, must be. Amen, man.
I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast, I gotta eat. Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peek? I was outside. The way that shake, leave your mouth wide. You need to say grace for you say thanks.
Amen. What's left in my life, don't know.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
With these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers, we ain't keeping score. Amen. I on the block, my side. Run it in the house for us 12 o'clock. Yeah, the hood love me, but you gotta watch. Amen.
I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, tryna see UV. Yeah, we gon' fall through, coming through deep.
Amen.
Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross, threw it on my neck. Yeah, when I rep the set, gotta stay blessed. Yeah.
Amen. People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen.
Man, what it meant to me. Everybody try to take the identity. Everybody around me turn to a friend of me. Sit back while I take on the remedy. I cannot let it get into me. It's playing a toll on me, meant to me.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
Every day I'm shot calling. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know. I've been ballin'. Yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Tell her hater get up on my face. Yeah, I've been ballin' since like yesterday. Yeah, all this money I'm up in the way.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now. He's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
After turning in an average performance at the Combine, his pro day was a last-chance effort to show off his athleticism. He kicked off the day by running his 40 time in just under 5 seconds. Nothing special, but what scouts were most impressed with was his 10-yard split. He tested faster than most other linemen in the draft. At the sound of the gun, he was out of his stance and passed the 10-yard marker in around 1.5 seconds. That's the kind of burst that coaches love to see from their big guys. Also told, he showed great bend in the knees and his footwork was sharp during drills. One GM told me he looked like the most complete lineman in the class, and it's no surprise he's already been picked up. He should be a solid anchor for this team in the future.
See me, the windows is tinted. Yeah, drive around right in that Bentley. Hey, you drive around right in that Bentley. Hey, but your shit, it should be rented. Yeah, but that is none of my business. Money won't stop me, go straight to the top. Believe in it.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
She know I'm a rock star. Looking at my chain, on my diamonds rock hard. Turned the way up, I ain't getting tired. And if you wanna race, then we gonna ride. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Every day I'm shot calling. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Panthers pick is in. Adam, did Cam Newton get some help?
Long talked about as a top 3 defensive back prospect, his draft stock fell dramatically after a series of consecutive struggles late in the season against inferior wide receivers. Many speculated that these struggles were due to a series of nagging injuries, a theory which may have been validated by his strong performance at his pro day. I was able to talk with several GMs about him at the Combine, and they told me he possesses the raw physical skills needed to become a top-tier NFL defensive back. 3 skills in particular were mentioned by every GM I spoke to: exceptional physicality at the line of scrimmage, a nose for the ball, and better hands than most receivers they've seen and scouted. The reason for his collegiate struggles may forever be shrouded in mystery, but they'll soon be forgotten if he's able to realize his full football potential.
You got me like, you got me like, and ooh, with all the things you do, yeah, anything and everything.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Baby, you're flashing, and I'm blinded by your light. I love the way you Jupiter is rising. You got me reacting.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Tonight. I love the way the stars are all aligning. You got me like, ooh. You got me like, you got me like, and ooh, with all the things you do, yeah, anything and everything I make you feel. Well, honey, I'm feeling with you. You got me like, ooh, I feel you.
You make me feel like the world's spinning like a satellite.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Giants' newest player?
Accounting for over 200 receiving yards in the last game of his collegiate career, he burst onto the scene, going from a relatively unknown player to the draft's top tight end prospect in a matter of weeks. Sources tell me it wasn't his stat line that impressed scouts, but rather his route running. In the game, he put on a clinic, running a variety of routes and creating separation time and time again against one of the nation's best defensive backfields, a backfield loaded with future NFL talent. While his big game resume isn't deep, he should get an opportunity to compete for the starting job.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Got a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me stare like second nature. Says disappear like second nature. On the same block like an hour later. Whole team eating but it's only right. There's a spare plate but you're the phony type. J-Hut's ugly in it. Baby 1 minute. You're looking wicked. Hey yo, I started off gentle. My stroke game mental. My lifestyle eventful. I didn't mean to offend you. Fendi belt saying I style like I'm mental. Moving wild and mental. I made another 5 this week. Your money playing hide and seek.
I don't even like to speak. I just tell him hi and bye. Slide up automatic Hyundai.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep the chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me sad like second nature.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Handy with it. Think I'ma do it, let that do it. Bang. Stick jam like what happened to it. Was it not working, bruv? Why you think I'm lurking, bruv? Creep on him, lean on him. Witnesses eavesdropping, keep popping. They keep bopping like I ain't seen nothing. Don't make me upset. Reach for an object. Who's that in the passenger? Brown skin, got big body. In my face, on me. Money, I got that for me. You're not popping, never pop nothing. Stop bluffing. Your opinion, always destined for brilliance. Wouldn't rest on a million. Dressed as civilians. All them masked up looking creepy. Park up, jump out, jump in. Skirt out like it's too easy. If anybody else didn't see me. Doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Second nature.
Today to talk about how I feel, and I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of our doesn't mean anything to me.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long, yeah. It's just no way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting no one way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom, struggling my mama on the last dollar. Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours. Really all about the money and the power. I just want to see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you wanna make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion can't emancipate the fundamental principles. When I see through optics, transform the wisdom. Watch me use my prophets, get them on the listen. I've been on a mission, and I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was. Till they leave him lifeless. Another mama crying, it's another crisis. Lord knows we just trying to live righteous. Are you willing just to make the sacrifices? I know we can't continue living like this, and I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Minutes on the plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Lord, I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it.
I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, help me. It's just the way I feel. Mom's been wasting so long. It's just the way.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
With these problems alone, not really getting taken no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm running on restless. I said, Logie, help me. I've never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. To me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, help me. I said, Logie, help me.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Yeah, I've been since my early days. I've been stuck in my worldly ways. Propaganda, press, pen, the camera, please.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Everybody might see my pain. Off the rail, might myself. Bored with life as aboard this plane. Steward this sex if I need help. Maybe what's your last name? Hopefully it still ain't been changed. Something about you make me not doubt you. I will silence my brain, scream louder. Asking when I'm gon' myself. Couple problems, my cash ain't help. Human issues too strong for tissue. False provider, war mask by wealth. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. Out the sight, I'm out of my mind. The sound, the sunshine is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I need, all I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do. Deja view from a bayside view. I see black cats in the daytime too. I see black cats on the daytime news. When handcuffed, wrist and his skin turned blue. I met God once at the rendezvous and felt starstruck.
Vince, the car's out front.
Got things to do, got to make my moves. I can't miss my flight and miss you too, boo. First class seats is overrated. Won't go less they overpay us. Nowadays I'm overdating. My street for the hurt. Stay well acquainted. Their morning is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I need. All I need. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. Out the sight, I'm out of my mind. The sound, the sunshine is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I need. All I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do.
The 49ers are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Young Gerald. Yeah. Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Yeah. Lead a club with a few now. Just some Hollywood and they do. I'm in the mood now. 2 a.m. What you wanna do now? What you wanna do now? Little baby, pass. Don't spill on me. That's Margella. Got this Oakland game to tell her.
She look familiar. At Coachella, what's her name? Isabella, forget it, yeah. It's like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna function, got some places we could go. Lot y'all got me speaking slow like, yeah, I'm blessed. I don't GA, you tryna, yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't no. Say less. Yeah. Say less. Hey girl, what it do? If you got friends, cool, bring a few through. No fun if the homies. Man, R.I.P. Nate Dogg, this too true. And you know what I'm down for. Round 2, round 3, and a round 4. Mood switch when she knocked at the front door. Next up was the uproar. Yeah, was like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna tuck off, got some places we could go. Swear she got
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I'm blessed. I don't GA. You tryna yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't no. Say less.
Sheesh. What you saying? I don't understand. I'm out my mind. I popped. Sheesh. I swear this lock shot got me stuttering. Girl, you not fall in love again. Sheesh. Get it. My favorite rush. You talkative, ain't gotta say too much. Be quiet. Who got some grapes? I'm trying to. I'm all roll for these. Get it. Not complicated. No conversation. Get it. Not complicated. No conversation. Please say less. Please say less. Please say less.
I'm blessed.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I'm tryna yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't no. Say less. Say less. Say less. You ain't no. Say less.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Yeah. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Crime. It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in, it made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami, what the is a little yachty. No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto. Brazilian model, she mean mugging like Frida Kahlo. Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Young Vic the diamonds, the finest. I shine like puff shine, shines if I sign to the rock cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you minors. Fresh out the cell to the booth, drop the booth. I'm still in the hood, tell, shoot. Hope, with a club. The judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry leave your head ringing? Free Vic Mensa, I'm a star, chain swinging. This that music, you can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying, y'all playing, we playing.
My Himalayan. Gelato, that's a sacrificial lamb. I'm seasoned cam, no matter, blam.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world, you got chips. You could the next man's girl. Sounds harsh, but
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
the way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career. So your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go foreign for foreign until it's
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
fence until you're snoring. Street
The Bengals are now on the clock.
till the world is mine like Illmatic and Lauren. Written on to a table full of fresh skin in the type of rappers we know. Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like I'm Nino.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah.
Cause, but I still low. Got 100 different to my cell phone. Still 33 for low. I'ma ride to my dog sitting in jail. It's that lighter on the grass, bend it back, roll. I'm on Keller, I'm on Gresham, I'm on Flat Shore. I'm at Magic, I'm at Bally's, let them go. Then it's right back to the when I'm low. Bars never close and we wide open. Kicking flavor with me, neighbor, yeah, we look.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Cause the bottom where we come from. Me no pray for little paper, need a lump sum. Real spill, yeah, I'd rather be a broke, real, little rich. All in love with her, she just wanna be in VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shame me. Had to get it, how I got it.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
Like football, rugby's a sport that's played with guys of all shapes and sizes. In his case, he was one of the big guys pushing and pulling blocks in the center of the pitch. He was playing rugby for a university in Australia before he was recruited to transfer and play football for 2 seasons here in America. His first year was spent adjusting to the game, getting used to the different rules and how to play his position properly. The guy even had to adjust how he tackled now that he had to wear pads and a helmet. But his second year is really where we started to see what he could potentially do. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage. The team was able to pick up a good addition to its line with a bit of an interesting history.
You my little baby boo, girl. I love you like my favorite color blue, girl.
Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
This was a quarterback who just needed a good pro day to reach status quo again. His stock took a temporary nosedive when he had one of the slowest 40s among the QBs. At his pro day, he ran the 40 again and got a much better time. And that 40 time placed him around the middle of the quarterback class. While he may not be the fastest QB in this class, he was at least able to prove that he wasn't the slowest. It was enough for the team to grab him with this pick.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty soda, treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Rolling from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
this. I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen, 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 amen. Bad boys and they can't win. Can't win, can't win, can't win, can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
A fundamentally sound offensive lineman whose last collegiate season was ended prematurely by a nasty ankle injury. He's a guy who has the potential to become a centerpiece on the line for years to come. If there's one point of contention about him, it's that after talking to several of my sources, there's a significant worry about the strength of his surgically repaired right ankle. The original injury happened when the ankle appeared to buckle while he was not engaged, raising some serious questions about leg strength. He's been known as a bit of a power lifter with exceptional upper body strength, leading some strength coaches to openly question if this explosive lifting is putting additional stress on his leg joints. He looked good at the combine with excellent lateral movement pushing off the ankle in question. We probably won't know how well that ankle holds up until about a year from now after he's been through the rigors of an entire NFL season.
When it come to getting this paper, please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen, amen, amen. Bad boys and they can't win. Can't win, can't win, can't win, can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up. Ripping up was honest. We was the drug them hardest. Then we pull up in the farthest. Glow up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up. Glow up. Boy, don't touch. We flow. Glow up. She lucky. Cause she 5 mil cash in Kentucky. Know me. I walk up in demons, spend 10K just like it's nothing. I hang with the demons, they don't play by me, we cut.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Atlanta, mix the with the fan up. All them. I got Santa. I go monkey. All that. Gonna do just what I say. Pull up, pass the Uber in that race. She so bad, but she said. I feel guilty, I might as well just plead my case. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen. Bad boys and they can't win. Can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up. Ripping up.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Then we pull up in the farthest. Glow up.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Show up. Baby, hold up. Glow up. Boy, don't touch. We flow. Glow up.
The Lions are now on the clock.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too...
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Lions' latest pick.
Hard, physical running is his calling card. There is no better display of what he's capable of than when he set a team record for rushing yards in a game, eclipsing the 300-yard mark. After that performance, he put the NFL on notice. Now he's arrived anxious to prove he'll be capable of ripping off big games in the pros, just as he was able to do throughout college. He should see a lot of touches this season, starting in the preseason all the way through what this team hopes is a deep playoff run.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like, yeah, Storm's gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them a calm, but you see my don dare. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, They can take my car and my creps. I still do the road in my socks. Like, who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
You weren't ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family ting, straight family ting. Dumb man, I broke no salary ting. Had a young ting called Amy telling me
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Hashtag Murky Academy ting. You were like art and the gallery ting. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. But you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, I'm too hot.
The Browns are now on the clock.
I'm the man of the house with my show sold out like the brother from the Boondocks. Beat Swan on my boombox. Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I go Maggie, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Man, stress, so I'm bound to like my slips. Wait, I'm bound to ride for flips. Real G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to write at this. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out, rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got
The Saints are now on the clock.
too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for it, this. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flat, get a plane to Qatar. This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Toes my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth?
I go out for my squad and I put that on. Squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But you stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad. Yeah, I go extra high for my entourage. Check my repertoire. Jim Jones, everywhere I go, you know it's reppin' time, it's reppin' time. When Latifah ready, when we set it.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Sleeping on me, I'ma wake them up, they fakers. I really do, I'm kicking up, the rent is due. Plus I got my mama and my kiddies too, they growing up. Time is moving faster, what we wasting for no.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
To prove I owe you that we all we got. I go out for my squad and I put that on. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. Show this, but just stick to the code. You get yours, I get mine. I've been reflecting on how we got this far, even when the pressure's on, finessing strong. Plus I got my team around me heavy, ain't no extra bros. You can keep them. Giuseppe's on delusional. Who gon' be there for you if you lose it all? Question that, who gon' have your mama back? Think about it, it's so much more than life, take advantage. We gon' get this money, stack this paper, and be alright. We gon' run it, keep on getting on sight. I go out for my squad and I put that on. Squad.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Okay, I was gone for a minute.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Sit back down. Sit like everybody nowadays. Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show 'em how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show 'em how to act. Okay, now picture little Bobby, just a younger run around with his man's in his hand, feeling like a man. Run for the put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seemed like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us. A long way from equal is how they treat us. Body of a builder with the mind of a fetus. Turn on the television and see the vision they feed us. And I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Everybody know how it goes.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Everybody bleed, everybody needs some. Everybody love, everybody know. I've been knocking dough down like it witness. God is my witness.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
If it was 17, black dad and white mama wouldn't change a thing. Light skin, certified as a house. Go figure. In my blood is the venom master. It's like the devil playing space with the pastor.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Man, what is that?
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap. Like my great granddaddy didn't take to the back. Not accepted by the ghetto. I don't give a praise God, I can see the light. Everybody talk about race this, race that.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some. Everybody love, everybody know how it goes. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some. Everybody love, everybody know. Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Sit like everybody nowadays. Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show 'em how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show 'em how to act.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
A king is born. I told you before. A king is born. Now I told you before. A king is born. Oh yeah. Like a beast in the jungle, in the heat of the rumble, I ain't got nothing to lose. Hey, I've been fighting these hard times.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Now it's victory that I choose. Yes, my soul is blessed, the king is born. Mama, I confess I'm a bad, bad man. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and throne is destined. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Like a bull in a glass house. No bull about to smash out. Can't nothing stand in my way. I don't care what the place is. From the penthouse to pavement. You better hear what I say. Hey, yeah. Yes, my soul is blessed. The king is born. My mind.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Man, ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and throne is destined.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
I'm a legend. King is born. Yeah, I told you before. Yeah, a king is born. Been broke
Seahawks are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend, legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown is gone is lifted. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend, legend, legend. King is born. I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
LOV on my right leg, that's Gucci. Dig what I'm saying? LOV on my man, that's Poochie. Dig what I'm saying? Caught a little jet lag, but I'm golden. Yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Whammies, they imposters.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
I just put the homie.
The Titans are now on the clock.
It's a vibe, yeah. I go through it, go through it, go through it. I gotta accept that I'm a. I pull up in several different options. That album most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I say, what? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled up.
The Texans are now on the clock.
85, I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got
The Giants are now on the clock.
millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe. I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
Dig what I'm saying, Chanel drapes on me daily. Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this Creek Cologne is on me, maybe. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard, yeah. I pop in your memory, You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy. I gave you pure love out the gutter. Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I go through it. I gotta accept that I'm a. I pull up in several different options. That album most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say, what? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
I feel like I should be giving up. You can't leave it's too much. But I'm tired of you, me on. And I don't like where this is going. And I've been stuck in your parlor.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Let's go to Shefty now with more on Sullivan. If anyone should get a trophy for how to train in preparation for the draft, it has to be this kid. A lot of second-year guys will bulk up in the offseason to better protect their bodies from the intense physical demands of the NFL. It was smart of him and the trainers to get a head start on the rest of the class in that area. And from what I've been told, he hasn't lost a step. Now, when you look at him, you see a player that can contribute in week one. He's more conditioned than most of his fellow classmates, and that's going to help him hit the ground running once the season kicks off.
There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Made it to see a whole nother summer and it feel good. Stop now, top down, through the neighborhood.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
That girl is poison like Belle Biv DeVoe. We have a barbecue to do at 4. Swimming pool party in the back on the low. And the plates of food will be laid out for free. Little kids, get down. I have a bus pull up with Tommy the Clown to do the jerk, go to work and do that.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Playing Bombardier, Common Clear. This that time of the year for everybody to be boisterous. Rock with Snoop Dogg and rejoice to this.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need, a little mind at ease.
The Saints are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock.
Shined up my white walls, night falls. I'm feeling good. I'm doing things that you never would. Like surfing with the sharks or shooting in the dark. Riding on a bike with my grandson at the park. Evolve while I elevate. Take flight, levitate. Breakfast for dinner. I'm cold as but summer ain't the winter. Finna, bender, Kona, on a 3-wheel motion. I'm headed to the ocean. Caravan full of cars, neighborhood stars. Up the boulevard we go till we can't go no more. It's me and mine, it's summertime. You go off and we go on.
As we go on, like we do. When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need, a little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's word to my father. I will for my mother. Deal with my brothers. Keep it.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Plus I duck undercover. Gotta stay on this mission. Got a vision that's endless. They told me don't be a menace. They gon' serve me a sentence. But now I'm up in the illest that did it. Get the cream look. Drop it in it. Give about opinions. I'm just minding my business. If I'm grinding, I'm shining. Don't got time for
the Falcons are now on the clock.
I'm it. Squad. 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 Square one, it's hard to square up. Everybody got come, mama cries, dead sons. Lord, please bless them. Back to the party, I'm just pouring my. Don't get faced that before, so I live it up. When a come, better get them up. That's a floss track, better get them up. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let y'all.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I can promise I'm being.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's last night, just you and I get.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
I'm it. I'm it.
The Rams are now on the clock.
I'm it. I'm it.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I done came up, bustin' down the whole broke, it's that bag. Want your people swag, ain't even gotta ask. What are those, what is that? Please don't touch my rap, please don't touch my rap. I'm racked up like rappers, I'm wrapped up on camera. Hit out.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Like asthma, it's rare wrath when I wear wrath, bare wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit, Lord, still shit rap. And I'm dripping on rags, Rick gonna be the tag, do the digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the Chris Finn Nash, Alessandra Gucci glasses, the W Anderson collab. Yeah, pop it like a, yeah, drop it on the. I'ma buy another. Cause boys bring it back. Yeah, you know how to make it last. Plus and keeping tabs. I'ma fly first class. Quavo hit him with it. Please don't touch my rap.
Don't step on my Russ Simmons. Don't step on my Russ Simmons. Don't step on my Russ Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet, it worth about $1 million. To the little up the runway. In the kitchen. Ralph Simmons. All kind of crazy colors. Living color. Left wrist. Roll it, ice. Make some Margiela, my sweater. Mama told me.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Don't lace them. Got your wanna.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Don't wanna talk about the paper. I swear to God, these be haters. They be hating, I feel out of live in cul-de-sac, don't get along. Ooh, right with my neighbors. Diamonds on my neck and roll it on. Now I later got undefeated flavors. I'm with my lifesaver. Ooh, feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Ooh, right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
I made it, yeah. I wear that rap for I made it, yeah. Got that rap all in my basement, yeah. Once I got patience, yeah. I'm famous, yeah. Put myself inside Mark Jacob, hey. Making a place with my label. I get it, I count it. 100 on my table.
Stolen silver lasers. Rubies red, my skin too black to blush, too red to tint, not pages. The scene on the wizard up.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
It's smelling like it brushed tea. Say cheese, see
the Dolphins are now on the clock.
Backwoods. Raft dragging on the floor. In it. I'm torching the road in these Gucci flames. Stuck to the pavement, they glued. I'm 2.5 million in the venue and 2,500 a tube. I'm cold like I'm sick with the flu. I cover my face and I'm spring summer 2002. Yeah, please don't touch my ride. In the grass, Teddy, with the Teddy. Quick with the hands ready. Please don't touch my ride. Shirt off, I'm Cam, ready. Dead stock in memory. Please don't pop my tie.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
I heard these always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard these always talking with them. It's okay it's okay, it's okay.
The Bears are now on the clock.
It's okay. I heard he's mad at me 'cause I'm getting money. I heard it's okay.